It should be understood that my goal is not to demonize these caterpillars, but to discuss their natural history and bring up the awareness of them. The process of delivering venom by caterpillars is done by urtication. The spines are attached to a venom bulb, and the spines are easily released. Depending on species, these spines or hairs can be extremely irritating and or painful. Now remember, this is about Florida caterpillars, and many of those species occur in other places in the United States. But if we want to talk about potentially deadly caterpillars, then we'll go to South America. Species down there, the assassin caterpillar causes several deaths annually in South America. And getting back to the Florida species, the results of envenomation vary per individual human because we all have different immune systems. And obviously some people fare off a lot worse than others. Some stinging caterpillars are covered in obvious spines, and others are covered in what appears to be light, bushy hairs, but they're all made of chitin, which is actually what an invertebrate skeleton is made of. There are many, many species of stinging caterpillars and or itchy caterpillars, but we're just going to be using a few of the more common ones today. The first one we'll start off with is the ever so common tussock caterpillar, which turns into the tussock moth. This, if you live in Florida, especially central Florida, during the spring and summer, early summer, you will be inundated with the tussock moths and caterpillars, especially if you have oak trees. And then what they do is they're climbing everywhere, walking everywhere, and they do have these bristles on their backs that if you touch them, they will stick in your finger. And they will itch, especially if you get them on tender areas like your arms, back of the thighs, and they stick into your skin and they itch. You can get them off with tape. I use duct tape. Put some duct tape on there and they'll pull those spines out. So when they're ready, they'll climb up to the trees or often in the eaves of your house, and they'll build their cocoons and pupate. And if you're going to remove those cocoons, you got to be careful because the caterpillars will line those cocoons with the spines to ward off predators. And then when the moth hatches out, the female moth is flightless. The males are the ones that fly. Now the tussock moths also have urticating hairs on their body. So if you pick up a moth, you could also get those hairs and it's be quite itchy as well. Another thing to be careful about during tussock caterpillar season is rolling around in your yard, kids playing football or what have you, and there's the possibility of picking up these spines that have been discarded or the caterpillars are in the grass. As far as the seriousness goes, it just, again, depends on the system. If you're fair-skinned, then you'll be more susceptible to the urticating hairs. Should also be noted that these caterpillars can cause dermatitis by coming in contact with them. Next on our list is the monkey slug caterpillar. And the moths of this species are called the hag moth. These would be, I would put them at the next of the list, on the list of the irritating and the stinging effects. Although I have not been stung by one of these, which is a miracle, but I have talked to people who have and read literature on it. And while not as bad as the next species, this is a little worse, as far as I can research, than the tussock moth. So everything's pretty similar as far as the effects of envenomation and urtication of the hairs. The monkey slug videos are from Mike Dunn, and he's with roadsendnaturalist.com, and I am so appreciative that he let me use his material. I don't have any still photos of monkey slugs of my own, but hopefully my luck will change next season. The next caterpillar we come to is the oak slug. It's another very common species. I guess it's worth mentioning that these are not the slugs that you'll find in your vegetable garden. That's a totally different animal. The stings from these little dudes is immediate. The pain is similar to a wasp sting, The pain also with me, it didn't last that long, and I had no other adverse effects. Other people might experience the prolonged effects of the dermatitis and the itching and such. Next on our list is the IO caterpillar and the IO moth. And the reason they call it the IO is because of the moth. You can see little eye spots on it. So if you touch the spines of this caterpillar, it's instantaneous pain, kind of like a paper wasp. Of course, the difference is you see all those spines, and every single one of those spines is connected to a venom bulb. So if it's laying across your arm, you're going to be lit up like a Christmas tree. But again, generally, no systemic results from the sting of these caterpillars, this species, but it's going to hurt you. And again, you could end up with the skin rashes as well. But the pain is what gets your attention right away. The next on our list is this little dude, the infamous saddleback caterpillar. This species and I go back a long way, and they will light your fire. And of course, some people may have higher pain tolerances than me, but man, I mean, from the time I was about 14, I saw one of these and I just took my little finger and touched one of those spines, and it was like instant fire. I mean, quicker than anything, just zap. And the pain was excruciating on my little digit. I would say there's more of a chance of getting systemic results from this species, of course, especially if you're sensitive. Now, I have asthma, and I remember when I was a kid getting stung by these, and it affected my respiratory system. As far as the pain, it doesn't last that long, or it didn't with me. Actually, it felt worse than a wasp sting, but almost exactly the same like the time it would take you to get for the pain to go away from a wasp sting. Last but definitely not least is the Puss caterpillar. This caterpillar is found from New Jersey all the way out to Texas, down into Mexico and Central America. It is the United States' most venomous caterpillar, and there are systemic results often from this species. The sting is excruciating, and they're very common, especially in Florida. When I worked for Disney's Animal Kingdom and Central Florida Zoo, I cataloged and documented bites and stings the guests received. Many of these cases showed moderate to severe effects from the envenomation from the Puss caterpillar. And the interesting thing was that the lymph glands under the armpits swelled, and also the area of the sting would show a bloodline rising up. And these envenomation results happened in people that were very healthy and very active. So this is a bad little dude to get stung by. But even though all these species shown are not considered deadly.